An already fragile transition to democracy in Myanmar, but sectarian tensions are running high and people are dying in the west of the country. What does the fighting mean for the future of the country? Could attempts at reform be halted because of the ethnic unrest? This is Inside Story. Hello and welcome to Inside Story. I'm Stephen Cole. Myanmar is on a very uneven and a fragile road towards democracy. But 7 people have been killed in 3 days of rioting in the country's western region. The coastal state of Rakhine saw Buddhists once again fighting Muslims, including Rohingya migrants described by the United Nations as one of the most persecuted minorities anywhere in the world. In response, the government has imposed a state of emergency in the area and the UN is relocating its staff. Wayne Hay reports from Bangkok in neighbouring Thailand.
Rakhine State is now under military control. More soldiers, police and hardware have been flown in, trying to help keep the peace. The build-up came as President Thein Sein used a televised national address to declare a state of emergency in the northwestern part of Myanmar.
What's currently happening in the Rakhine State is about putting grievances, hatred and desire for revenge at the forefront based on racial and religious grounds, and that's why anarchic actions are becoming widespread.
The violence and burning started after a Buddhist woman was raped and murdered last month. The Rohingya, who are a minority Muslim group, were blamed, and since then more people have been killed on both sides of the religious divide. In Thailand, a small number of Rohingya gathered to show support for their people in Myanmar, most of whom are stateless. They're given no official status by Myanmar or neighbouring Bangladesh.
We don't have any hope, because it is happening all the time. So we need international help, we need the UN intervention.
The trouble is proving an early test for the mainly civilian government which was formed after the election in 2010. It's one of many areas of ethnic and religious tension in Myanmar, and the president warned the unrest could spread.
If this happens, we'd like the general public to be aware that the stability and peace, the democratization process and the development of the country, which are only in transition right now, could be severely affected and much would be lost.
Much has already been lost in Rakhine State. Many of those whose homes have been burnt are now sheltering in evacuation centres. Wayne Hay, Al Jazeera, Bangkok.
So, what's behind this ethnic tension? Is it religious, Buddhist against Muslim, or is it a case of a minority being persecuted for being stateless? To try and answer those and some other questions, I'm joined by, in London, Nurul Islam, president of the Arakan Rohingya National Organisation. In Bangkok, Nguyen Yint, spokesman and head of foreign affairs at the National League for Democracy. And in Washington, D.C., Waka Udin. He's a Rohingya from Myanmar and Director General of the Arakan Rohingya Union, a group supported by the Organization of Islamic Conference. But first, to Nguyen Yint. Nguyen Yint, the Rohingyas are a stateless Muslim group. Myanmar considers them to be illegal immigrants from Bangladesh. But this most recent violence is not a new outbreak, is it? The issue has been reoccurring now for half a century.
That's correct, because in Burma we are widely considered that the Rohingya is the migrant from the neighboring countries. But in late 70s, that they called that the Hinda, the program, and then accepted more than 240,000 of the Rohingyas who were refugees in Bangladesh and then cross the border and then resettle in Burma. And since then, that's going to be racial tension, and then also the military government has been using a different type of suppression against all the minorities, not only the Rohingyas but also the ethnic minorities. And then plus, then that's going to be a democratic uprising in 1988. Then that's going to be all of the citizens have been abused by the military hunters.
Nurul Islam, several days of rioting, up to 7 people are thought to have died, although other estimates are higher. What caused this violence? What sparked it this time, and who is carrying out the killing?
Well, this is on 3rd of June. There was a killing of Muslim pilgrims, some Muslim pilgrims, about 8 people, and all with driver and with the female conductor, altogether 10. And they are killed by a mob of Rakhine extremists. Rakhines are a Buddhist community in Arakan, while they were returning home to Rangoon. And then the following day, there was a disturbance in Akyab. This is a Sitwe, the provincial capital of Arakan. And then on 8th of June, this was after Friday prayer, some Muslim tried to have to say prayer for those who were mercilessly murdered. At that time, the security forces obstructed them and fired, and on the spot 2 people died. And then this is the violence has spread, and this had been a statement issued by with calculation, and the security forces started with the Rakhine extremists. They were rampaging the Muslim villages and killing the Muslims, and then they're firing and opening, setting fire on the Rohingya Muslim houses.
So, Nurul, you're saying some extremists are responsible here.